Hey everyone, and welcome to another Final Fantasy XIV video. So Occult Crescent has been out for a week now, and I wanted to do a bit of a discussion, sort of review piece for you guys. Maybe you haven't had a chance to check out the content yourself yet, you want to know what it's like, or maybe you've been playing it and you just want to see if somebody else echoes your opinions or whatever. Or maybe you're looking to resubscribe and you're not sure if this content is worth resubscribing for in its entirety. So that's what I want to achieve in this video, and just talk through it whilst I'm just, I guess, running around a little bit and just showing off a bit of the zone. So I jumped into this content, I made sure I'd finished the MSQ and was level 100, ready to go. So this is my first piece of content in Final Fantasy that I'm actually going through the gates day one with the whole crowd, and that to me was very special. So this piece of content is always going to be special for me for that reason. An exploration zone is actually one of my favorite things to do in MMOs, because I feel like it's such a good opportunity to make the world feel alive, feel active, more than you can with just leveling zones even. This special piece of content that's specifically been created as sort of a Disneyland, right? That's its intent. And I will say, yeah, that's been quite special. It's been weird for me though, because this is the first piece of content that I've not only been caught up with, but actually been ahead of the curve. So I was teaching long-time FF veterans, long-time viewers of my stream, I was teaching them stuff about this zone. So that was really weird for me. I'm sure they've outpaced me now and they know more than enough. But that was really fun. It was cool to jump into the raid and check that out ahead of most people. I obviously didn't kill it yet, I've not completed it, but that's been really, really fun. The really nice thing for this zone is that it's a horizontal progression zone. So what does that mean? That means pretty much everything in the zone that you do, you have a separate level, right? You can level 1 to 20 in here, separate from the outer world. You have gear here that's specifically strong here, less so in the outer world. There are rewards here, you have these phantom jobs. You have rewards here that are not going to apply in the rest of the world, and I think the more horizontal progression systems you can add, the better. Maybe up until a point, maybe you don't want to go too crazy with that, but it's really good to have these systems that you can implement without affecting and disrupting the power balance of, you know, the current Savage tier or whatever, and without sort of throwing that into you know, crazy balance hell. So a horizontal zone I think is really good and great max level content. So that's been really cool. I dabbled a little bit with Eureka, I dabbled a little bit with Bozja. The big thing that turned me off Eureka is the zone just felt pretty empty in terms of I was running from fate to fate, mob to mob, and nothing really excited me. There was nothing stimulating. I didn't really care about anything. And then the big one for me that killed it was just the level sync issues. I had to get within a certain range of people before I could group with them, and then we could level sync, but only to a point. And by the second zone, I just had enough, and I just dipped out of it, because I couldn't play with friends. And people kept telling me, just wait until the third zone, wait until the third zone, then it gets good. It's like, okay, buddy, wait until you watch 2 seasons of this TV show, season 3 gets really good. It's like, well, I'm not investing 40 hours before something gets good. It's got to hit me immediately. So I wanted to mention a big issue I had with Eureka was the inability to appropriately level sync. Well, the really nice thing with Occult Crescent is that you can level sync should you choose to, and it works pretty seamlessly. If you're in a group, you can just click the level sync button up near your knowledge level, and then that will allow you to sync as a group to the lowest level player in the team, which in general you don't even need to do. You only really need to do it if you're looking to farm gold pieces and you're going to be doing mob chaining. If you're not mob chaining and you're just doing CEs and fates and just running around sort of doing your own thing but in a party, then you don't even need to worry about level syncing. So that is really advantageous, and it makes the zone feel like you can just pick up and play it at any point with friends, and you don't have to worry about always being synced up and aligned with those players in your group. So that's a great bonus. Bozja was actually I quite enjoyed, specifically because I really like that element of the duels, the CE duels, where like people could be put into this lottery where they'd 1v1 and the rest of the server could watch. I think that's so cool. That's like insanely awesome. It reminds me in World of Warcraft of like the arena, the Brawlers Guild, where you watch other people fight a boss. I just think that's really cool. I love that dynamic. I don't know why. Like, more than fighting a boss with other people, I like watching people 1v1. So that's quite exciting. I'd love to see them bring that back, maybe for Zone 2. So, yeah, those are just like, that's just my initial stuff about the zone. In terms of like the purpose, why are we here? So as I mentioned, it's a horizontal zone. The purpose of this zone is whatever you want it to be. You want to farm a relic? Cool. You want to farm some gear for the raid and the glam and stuff? Cool. You want to level up all the phantom jobs and get to level 20? Amazing. Do you want to raid? Go do that. Do you want to do the MSQ? Do you want to just maybe take in some extra lore points or something that you can learn from this zone? Go do that. Do you want to achievement farm? Cool. Do you want to earn some gil? Do that. Glam farming, like, it's got a bunch of stuff. It's got a bunch of different rewards, like, several different rewards, like 10 rewards. Oh, look at these. Oh, look at this. Speaking of, right? Okay, well, that's not a great one. Like, I like this zone because of these rewards, these treasure coffers. I got this mount day 1 from a treasure coffer. That was probably one of the most exciting moments in playing this game for me. It was just like, what a lucky young man I am. So that was really cool. But there's a bunch of different rewards to earn, and I think that's amazing. And initially, day 1, I didn't even really, I thought, oh, there's not really much to get here. But actually, upon reflection, there's tons of stuff to earn, and it's great. However, my gripe is that there's only really one way to earn every single reward. You want to farm the relic? Seas and Fates. You want to level your phantom jobs? Seas and Fates. You want to level your job? Seas and Fates. You want to earn silver? Sea and Fates. You want to get ready for the raid? Sea and Fates. You want to earn glam? Sea and Fates. Like, everything's just Sea and Fates. And that's good to a point, but after a while, it gets a little bit stale, and I would like just a smidge of variety. Just a little something different, and okay, there's chain farming. Yep, I'll give you that, and there are more and more people looking for gold farming and stuff, which is good. Admittedly, I haven't done enough of that yet. I have done some, not enough. When I was chain farming, it was one mob at a time, and I found that quite boring. If you were going to chain farm with like a dozen mobs at a time, that could actually be quite exhilarating, and I'd probably enjoy that quite a bit. But I'd like something a little bit extra. Maybe another way to level, to gain some of these rewards. Something I was thinking about as well that could be pretty cool is like a puzzle that the community could work towards to solving. So this is something, again, in a different MMO, where the developers will put in these puzzles, and you earn like a mount or a title or something quite like special in its design, and you can earn them from doing these puzzles, and they take weeks and months for these Discord servers to work out, but there'll be a bunch of stuff in the zone and across the map that you can unravel and try and, you know, get down to this, like, solving this puzzle, this mystery in the content. And that could be something quite exciting. That could be an extra little reward as well, and that could be something that the community could work towards. So, earning methods for me is probably a point of contention. I'd like to maybe see some variety there. Now, I have spoken quite a bit about these CEs and these fates being the bulk and the bread and butter of the content that you're doing on a day-to-day in Occult Crescent. And to be fair to the devs here, even though there's only sort of one way to earn a lot of these rewards, the combat design, the effort they put into these CEs in particular have been phenomenal. I think it's such a good level of challenge for the average player. Even myself, who, you know, I've cleared an ultimate, I have done all of the raids, blind mine, solo cooking, and stuff like that. I'm still getting caught out from time to time in some of these CEs and still like learning the patterns and stuff with them. And because there's so much variety in what ones are available, you probably see the same CE maybe once every few hours. So you do get a lot of variety. You do get that different styles of mechanics. And some of them, particularly on day 1, were incredibly unforgiving. So I think they're actually quite fun. They're very well designed. They're interesting. They keep you engaged. So I think they've done a great job there. So I did just want to talk about that as well. The raid prog, I think, is really awesome. I think it's great that it's quite punishing, where if you die, if you wipe, you get kicked out. If you die too many times as an individual, you get kicked out. It's quite punishing to learn the raid, which I personally, having gone through this game, doing all the blind mine content, I really like that. I think that's quite exciting, because it makes the content, like, it gives it a little bit more life, and also it shrouds it in a bit more mystery, and it makes it quite exciting when the raid comes around. Rather than just another thing that you queue in for and just feeling like another Alliance raid, there's that sort of like, right, it's game time, let's perform. And I think that's really cool. There's a few things you can prep. You can earn some good gear that's going to help you. You can get your Phantom jobs leveled up, so you're versatile. So that's really cool. The problem is I think, from what I've seen in the community, it's kind of made some people apprehensive. I had some people in my stream who outright said, I'm not going to do the raid until there are guides out for it, because I'm not going to waste my time trying to learn these bosses, right? I'm just going to let somebody else do it. I'll look at the guide and then I'll go in and clear, because I don't want to waste my time. And to be fair, I get it. I spent 5 hours on only 4 attempts. I was in the raid for less than probably 17 minutes. In 5 hours. And that's bad. I think an issue is that you have to go join like a Discord to group up with 47 other players. Then you all have to set a time, get online, join an 8-player group. Then you all have to queue into the Alliance, like into the OC at the same time, and hope that you get all 48 players in, which is difficult because there's only 72 players per instance. Then you have to wait 30 minutes for the raid to spawn. Then you all have to use ciphers to hope that you get all 48 of your players in, and not some randoms from around the zone. And then you have to nail it. And if you don't nail it, then you wipe, and then you're kicked out again. One of the attempts, we actually were in there for less than 2 minutes. And then the first boss mechanic, we wiped. And then that was it. We had to, like, so across 1 hour, we had 2 minutes in the raid. And that can be quite frustrating for a lot of people who maybe aren't used to spending a lot of time. And I guess in a way it doesn't respect the player's time in that sense. So I can see why people would be frustrated. What I would maybe like to see is just the raid not have this 30-minute timer lockout thing. And maybe just once you re-level to 20, you could just re-enter whenever you want. That way, like, yes, you're going to get kicked out if you wipe and stuff, and you're limited to 3 deaths. But at least you can just sort of, ooh, a nice hat. At least you can just get more uptime, and then it doesn't feel as bad. So maybe that's something that might help the community feel like they do want to go more into it blind. Because I think the shame with a lot of this content, you know, Final Fantasy, the charm for me is that there's no PTR testing, there's not really much data mining, or you have to really go out of your way to find it. So people can embrace blind content, and that's sort of like, hey, you're allowed to mess up, you're allowed to fail, because it's new for everybody. The problem being when it's so harsh, people are actually put off it, and they end up not engaging with it. So I think that's not great. But those are like maybe my main gripes. Something I do like about the Relic weapon is the fact with the Atmas, once you've farmed them, you don't need to farm them again. So it's a one-time farm. I think that's really good. I also like that you can farm it in Outer World Fates as well if you want to specifically target certain ones. I think that's really good as well. So the Relic grind has been improved from, I think, maybe previous relics that have existed. So I think that's also really positive. Yeah, I think those are a lot of like positives about the zone for me. It's really good. Whether it's worth resubscribing for, I think if you're into farming your Relic, if you want to grind that out, or if you're really into wanting to jump into the raid, I think it's worth resubscribing. However, there's not a ton of MSQ, like, zone quest content, and if you don't have that specific reward of wanting to get the glamour or the Relic, maybe, or doing the raid, it's maybe not worth resubscribing for just yet, and maybe you wait until a couple more updates have come for the zone. I will say, if you haven't seen the Relic weapon or the Relic Glams, like the full set Glams, look at me looking like Captain Crunch, the guy from the cereal box. Like, if you haven't seen these Glams, there's some really good ones. The weapons are 2 die as well. 2 die 4, maybe. I've reacted to those. I'll link it in the description. You guys can check it out, my reaction to that. There are some great ones. So even just the relics themselves are definitely worth checking out. Let me know what you guys think about this zone. What's been your favorite part? What have you liked? What have you not liked so much? How have you been killing time here in the zone? Any little like tips and tricks, any little secrets that you discovered? Do you guys want me to make a guide on this zone? I'm willing to do some of that. That would be great. Doing some guide on how you can earn some of these things and you know, optimal strats for XYZ. I can do that. Apart from that, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. All of my Final Fantasy videos are going to be on this channel. All my live streams are going to be on this channel. My TikTok shorts, all that stuff go in here. So make sure you like and subscribe here if you do want to catch that. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.